Welcome into the 9th episode of Loan the Podium. I'm Drew. He's Mike. Mike, we're under a month away from the February 9th opening ceremonies of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, and Team Canada across all sports and all disciplines is really starting to take shape.
Yeah, Team Canada squads being named in a lot of different disciplines. Foremost on that list would have to be Canada's men's hockey team, but there's been a ton of coverage on that, so we're going to kind of gloss over it. One team we will focus on, that is the figure skating squad, which was named on Sunday.
That's right. Sunday, right after the Canadian Nationals, which went down in Vancouver, and we are going to see a lot of familiar faces on this figure skating team. Leading the men will be Patrick Chan, who wrapped up his 10th senior national championship this weekend. That's a record. Chan was the silver medalist 4 years ago in Sochi, and this will be his 3rd Olympic Games. On the ladies' side, Gabrielle Dahlmann couldn't even be stopped by pneumonia on Saturday. She took the women's crown, and she'll be joined by Caitlin Osmond, who has been tearing up the Grand Prix circuit all year long. In the pairs, Megan Duhamel and Eric Radford took home their 7th straight Canadian championship, punching their ticket to their 2nd Olympics. And in the ice dance, Canada's sweethearts, Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer, will be back to avenge their controversial silver medal from 4 years ago, their 3rd Olympics. Of course, they took gold back in Vancouver. There are all the names courtesy of the CBC. All in all, 17 athletes will be representing Canada in the figure skating. 11 of them, Mike, have prior Olympic experience.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough team to compete against. Now, Drew, to one of the coolest things I've been able to bring to you on Loan the Podium, no pun intended, we're heading to the birthplace of bobsled, that is St. Moritz, Switzerland, and to the only natural, non-refrigerated bobsled track on the circuit. But we are going to start with skeleton, and Elizabeth Vachi. She slid to a bronze medal. Over in the 4-man bob event, Chris Spring used a great start from Brian Barnett, Lascelles Brown, and Neville Wright to earn his 2nd bronze on the season. And Drew, this was the last event for nations to qualify sleds to the games. Canada is going to go with a full complement, 3 women's sleds and 2 women, 3 2-man sleds, 3 4-man sleds. Then over on skeleton, another full complement, 3 women, 3 men. So Canada sending everyone possible to these games to bring home some hardware.
Full roster in the sliding events. That'll be great to watch. Plenty of Canadian content. Now, they haven't announced yet the team for the freestyle skiing events. Nonetheless, 3 likely Canadian Olympic athletes had a great weekend all over the mountain. First up, Cassie Sharp absolutely dominated the halfpipe at the Snowmass Grand Prix in Aspen. She posted the 3 best runs of the weekend, only needed 1 to count. She even busted out the Cork 10 for the first time. Next up, Cranbrook, BC's India Sherritt took home her first career World Cup medal, landing 3rd in the ladies ski cross in Idrefjäll, Sweden, which is a mountain, not a dresser. And if you forget every other name on Loan the Podium, remember Mikhail Kingsbury. He was our medal detector way back in our very first episode, and for good reason. Kingsbury slayed the course in Deer Valley this weekend with back-to-back World Cup wins. His 12th and 13th straight record, 47th win of his career. The man has not lost in well over a calendar year. Heavy favorite in that event leading into next month's Olympics. And Mike, as we've mentioned many times on this program, Canada led the way with the most medals in freestyle skiing in Sochi 4 years ago, and they look primed to do that again in a month.
Yeah, Canada has qualified 30 spots for freestyle ski, but that has to get split up between the men, the women, and all 5 disciplines. So that's going to be some hard choices for Alpine Canada. Now, finally, Drew, we get to show a little biathlon. Canada hasn't won a biathlon medal in 2 years, so we got really excited when we got to bring you the first medal, and it was courtesy of Rosanna Crawford. She did it in the 15-kilometer race, claiming the bronze thanks in part to perfect 20 for 20 shooting. And Drew, she also finished 4th the next day in the 12.5-kilometer mass start, also aided by perfect shooting. So clearly a markswoman out there on the biathlon course, and she's peaking at the right time.
Absolutely. As are all of Canada's athletes. Now, we're going to mix up the format a little bit next week. World Cup season starting to slow down, just a month away from the Olympics. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back through every sport and every discipline at the Olympics, and we're going to tell you not only who Canada's favorites and medal hopefuls are, we're going to tell you who their biggest competition is. So make sure you don't miss next week and the week after and the week after that. Those will be the last 3 episodes of Loan the Podium before the Olympic Games start.
Thank you so much for watching episode 9 of Loan the Podium. For Drew, I'm Mike. See you next week.
Come on. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2, 1, 2.